From the nation's capital, the Conservative Caucus presents Conservative Roundtable, an in-depth look at today's most important issues.
Welcome to Conservative Roundtable. I'm Howard Phillips, Chairman of the Conservative Caucus, which sponsors these broadcasts now being shown all over the United States. This is the 35th year of the Conservative Caucus, and we're particularly honored to have as our guest for this program Steve Forbes, who is the Editor-in-Chief, Chief Executive Officer of Forbes Media. Steve, at a time when so many elements of the media are suffering, you don't seem to be suffering. Your publications seem to be doing well. Forbes magazine, which I read and have read regularly, has a circulation of, about 900,000, and your assorted affiliate publications reach 5.5 million people.
Well, our readership has never been better. Paid readership has never been better. We're suffering on the advertising front, although our share of market is going up. And on our website, we have almost 20 million unique visitors a month now, and our affiliated sites, another 15 million. And you're right, overseas, we have 11 publications, local language editions. Newest one is India, which finally allowed foreign companies to come in, so we're going in that fast-growing market too.
Well, brag a little. Why is it so successful?
I think primarily, and we've been in business for 92 years, is we have a sense of purpose. We see business as a good thing. We think it has a moral foundation, serving the needs and wants of other people. So in that sense, we're like a drama critic. We love it when a show is done right, hate it when it's done wrong. So we are very, very critical of those who don't do right, but we see it as the best vehicle for opportunity for people to discover their innate talents of anything that's ever been on this earth.
Well, you personally have won awards as a successful economic prognosticator, and your comments on taxation have been very insightful. And under President Obama, we face the prospect of big increases in taxes, and one of the taxes being discussed in the context of his socialized medicine scheme is the value-added tax. Now, I know what's wrong with VAT, but our viewers may not. You told me before that we should have a clue, and that it first came into being in France.
Back in 1954. So the reason they love it is it's a very hard tax to avoid. And unlike a sales tax, it goes on every step of the production. So when you buy something, you pay the tax. If you're producing something, you pay the tax. The only way you get it back is by getting a credit, by charging the next person for it. So you go to Germany, you go to France, Germany, 19.5% tax. And the reason the politicians love it, not only is it hard to avoid, but in the final price, you don't see it. It's molded into the price. So if something goes up in price, they blame the retailer. They don't blame the politicians because you don't see it. And so it's a money machine. And that's why in this country, the Democrats love the thing, along with the French, but they see this as a way of getting hundreds of billions of dollars for all sorts of schemes, not just socialized medicine, but a whole slew of other things they have in mind.
Now, you have had some innovative ideas about how to address the problem of revenues for the federal government. And one proposal you put forward some years ago was the idea of giving people a choice. If you like the present system, pay it,
right.
But there's a better way. Why don't you explain that to us?
It's the flat tax, single rate. As you know, the federal income tax code, in contrast to other great American documents like the Declaration of Independence, 1,300 words. Constitution, we could do that in 5,000. The Bible, which, as you know, took centuries to put together, we could do that in 773,000 words. Federal income tax code and all attendant rules and regulations, 9 million words and rising. So why not just get rid of the thing, replace it with a single rate? My proposal was 17%. Generous exemptions for adults and for children, so we don't get in this fight of who's going to pay more or less. Everyone gets a tax cut. So if you're a family of four, first $46,000 is free of federal income tax to meet the necessities of life. Then above that, 17%. No tax on savings, and no death taxes. I've always believed you should be allowed to leave the world unmolested by the IRS. And then on the business side, We now have the second highest tax in the developed world. Cut that to 17%. No more depreciation schedules. If you make an investment, write it off in the year in which you lay out the cash. You have a loss, you carry it forward against future profits. You do that, and you'll see this economy take off like a rocket. But as you indicated, one of the things that people get hung up on is, am I going to lose this deduction? Am I going to lose that deduction? You can talk to your blue in the face that you're going to come out ahead. So I take the attitude, you make the choice.
How did you develop your understanding of economics and economic policy?
Just a fascination with it. Economics is people, markets, people. When they talk about impersonal markets, that's usually code for you don't like what people are doing. And so how do you have systems? Going back to our founders, Alexander Hamilton, Ben Franklin, and others, we all have innate ambitions, energies, some good, some not so good. So how do you channel these innate energies in a way that is constructive, that is not zero-sum? That's what commerce is all about. Your success is other people's success. Well, how do you have an environment where that can really flourish? So that's, to me, is economics. And one of the things, Howie, that people, so many economists don't get, they always talk in this grim language of allocation of scarce resources. No, true entrepreneurial capitalism is turning scarcities into abundances. What is rare today, you can turn into a commonplace tomorrow. Henry Ford, classic case, automobile, used to be a toy for the rich, $150,000 in today's prices. Now any working person can afford it. That's what